Shalom Aleichem, everyone. We're continuing in Pele Yoetz, the Hachseg's learning, day number 160, and we are concluding the chapter today of Giluach, of shaving, haircuts, trimming the beard, cutting one's nails, grooming oneself. And the Pele Yoetz writes the following words. V'kosu Guri Arizal, the Arizal wrote, at the time that you are cutting your hair, you should have in mind that you are not going to cut off the corners of your head, or to destroy the corners of your beard. To be mekayim, to fulfill the commandment of Hashem. It says in the Torah, you cannot cut the corners of your head, nor destroy the corners of the beard of your face. Even though that you're not actually going and doing that, but since that you have this in mind that you want to get a kosher haircut over here, or a kosher trim or kosher beard cut, so therefore by having that in mind, it's as if you're fulfilling the commandment. Now listen, the holy Pele Yoetz, what he would do before he took a haircut. L'shem, he would say like this: L'shem yichud kudsha bicho, for the glory and the honor of Hashem. Hu shchidein is shchina hareini muchan legalech saros reishi. I am prepared. I am ready now to shave the hairs of my head. Lichvot Shabbos, in the honor of Shabbos. V'ani muchan lezar milahaki Paos azaken, and I'm going to be very careful not to destroy the Paos azaken, the corners of my beard. L'kayim mashar mutar, like it says in the Torah, lo yisakifu paas roishchem. Do not destroy the corners of your head. V'lo yisashchis es paas konecha, and do not destroy the corners of your beard. Hakol kasher l'kol asa is nachas ruach liyotzreinu. Everything I'm doing is to bring nachas ruach, pleasure, to our Creator. L'sakin advarim b'shoroshim b'mokim elyon. I want to be misakin, to correct and fix up everything above, from down here below. He said all these amazing things. So it wasn't just a haircut. It wasn't as a trim. If he would trim his beard, I don't know if he would. But it was a holy convocation of being mekayim, the mitzvah of the haircut, l'kavod Shabbos Kodesh, of doing things according to halacha, of being misakin things in Shemaim, that the Pele Yoetz was able to understand what he could be misakin, what he could fix up in the heavens with his hair being cut in the right way. And that's the way he went about it. Now, it's fitting for everyone that fears Hashem. He should not let his hand touch his beard at all. Not on his face, not under his neck either. He causes a lot of bad to himself. Again, unexplainable. No, we're not Kabbalists over here. We don't know what that means. But apparently, if the hair is judgments, so then when you put your hand into your beard, you're touching the dinim, the strict and the harsh judgments, no matter where it is on your beard, and therefore it's ra gedoy l'nafshe, could cause a tremendous bad to yourself. Ubi paos harosh, paos harosh. When it comes to paos on the head, everybody should do like the Arizal says. What did the Arizal say? What should you do with the corners of your hair? Paos is the corners of your hair. You should leave from the ear until the end of the temples. That's where there's extra hair from the forehead. And it should be a little bit above, raised above the ear. How come every single man doesn't do such a thing in the world of Chassidus, of piety? It doesn't take much time. It doesn't cost you extra money. The barber's not going to charge you extra money for leaving your paos on your head. And this is an ancient custom, and they do great things above in the heavens. Why aren't you concerned about the honor of your Creator, which to you is no loss? It's no skin off your back at all. Therefore, everybody should make themselves, in regards to this halacha, or this hanhaga, this minhag of the paos, make yourself like a Talmid Chacham, paos, Paos shel chacham, and don't worry about people that are going to laugh at you and make jokes to you and say, "Oh, you're such a Talmud Chacham, you're Rosh Yeshiva, you're a big fat pace like that. Oh, you learned over here in that yeshiva? No, you're a regular person over here in Los Angeles or New York or in Baltimore. What do you have pace like that for?" Says the Pele Yoetz, don't worry about anybody. The Arizal said they do such a thing, and it doesn't cost a penny, and it goes like that, and that way you can beautify the mitzvah of the payas. That's what he's saying. Again, every person according to their custom, every person according to the Masorah. You might come from a family where there is no payas. In your part of the Sardisha world, they don't have payas, and in this part of the Litvisha world, they don't have payas. Whatever your minhag is, that's what you should follow. And the Pele Yoetz is giving you permission. If you so much decide that you want to have payas, you have a good reason why you should grow them. So too, cutting one's fingernails and toenails, as we will see. Humi covered Shabbos is all part of honoring the Shabbos. Make sure that you cut them every Erev Shabbos. If it's because it's honoring the Shabbos, or if they're too long, and you don't like them like that, so it could be considered a chatzitza. It could be like a blockage when it comes to Natil Zidayim, washing your hands for Hamaitzi on Shabbos itself. If you have something on your body that you are makbid about, that you don't like, you'd rather, and you forgot, you didn't cut your nails that week, maybe the length of your nails is going to end up creating what's called the chatzitza, a barrier between the water and your hands, and then you will not have washed properly. The blessing you made on washing your hands for hamaitzi, for the bread that night and during the day, is what's called a bracha levatala. It's a wasted bracha. And you did not do the mitzvah of the Natil Zidayim, and you end up eating bread without the Natil Zidayim, and therefore you should be careful, says the Pele Yoetz. Make sure your nails are cut before Shabbos. Now, in the more Kabbalistic, secret world over here, the nails themselves also have to do with dinim, with the strict judgments. Therefore, be very careful. Don't let your nails grow long. And don't let your toenails grow long either. Since that when a person goes to the mikvah, even a man who has the custom to go to the mikvah on Erev Shabbos or Erev Yom Tiv, or maybe goes every single day, so that person says that when you want to go to the mikvah, you want to go properly. You don't want any chatzitzas, you don't want to have any barriers between you and the water. We have to check ourselves to make sure that there's no chatzitza on our body. Just like a woman, before she goes to the mikvah, she does chafifa, she cleanses herself for a good amount of time to make sure that there's no barriers on her skin, between her skin and the waters of the mikvah. So he's saying the man really should be thinking the same thing. And also a person has to be very particular. Remove the klipos, remove these barriers, these spiritual barriers from you. But like don't be like those people who think all you have to do is to cut the fingernails. That's what's the most important. But if you want to have long toenails, not a problem. No, even there, it is a problem. Besides that it'll cut a hole in your sock. Besides that, it's not a good thing, says the Pele Yoetz over here. It's going to bring about the dinim also, just like the fingernails. It is fitting that a person should be concerned for the opinion in halacha not to cut one's nails in order. Even though the Arizal himself, who was the great Kabbalist, he laughed about this and said, you don't have to worry. Nevertheless, it's not aser. The Abu Daharam, who was one of the great Rishonim, says you shouldn't cut in order. You should skip around. Because he says if a person who cuts their nails in order, Chalila, Rahman al-Tzlan, it can end up bringing to the burial of one's children. So why not be choishesh for what he says and do your best to cut the nails out of order? We know what it says in Chazal. Sorfin chas, it's someone who burns their fingernails after they're cut. he's a chassid, he's a pious individual. Koivrin, someone who buries them, tzaddik, he's a tzaddik. Mufazran, someone who tosses them onto the ground, throws them away. Rasha, that's a wicked person. Now the Gemara says over there also, because a woman that is pregnant and she steps on fingernails, chas v'chalila, could end up causing a miscarriage, and therefore we have to expel and we have to dispose of the fingernails. And so if you leave them lying around the ground, you're a Rasha, because maybe a woman who's pregnant will step on them, and God forbid, because of you and your laziness and your wickedness, she'll end up having a miscarriage. And certainly a woman that has to go to the mikveh, she has to make sure she cuts her nails properly so that she's able to do without any chatzitza, without any barriers between her and the water. And he writes further, don't cut them on your, and let them fall into your clothing. Not into any kind of beged, not any kind of clothing. Because once again, just like the hairs on your head need to fall onto the ground to get rid of the dinim, apparently over here they should fall onto the ground to get rid of the dinim. Then you have to gather them up to make sure that you either burn them or you bury them. Flushing them down the toilet would be considered, I'm not sure whether burning or burying. If you're a sheikhet and you need to grow, you need to grow out your nails better because it helps you with the shechita. Mishu Avil Bar Minan, or someone who, God forbid, is an Avil, he's in mourning. You have to make sure that you clean out the dirt that's underneath the edges of your fingernails, and clean them out every time, so that when you go to wash your hands for Netilas Yadayim, you're going to wash for bread on that day, it should not be a chatzitza, the dirt that's under them, that you have permission to grow your nail long. A moil also has a long thumbnail. He has permission to grow his nail long. He doesn't have to worry about everything we said about before, except that if there's too much dirt that's under the nail, so then it could be a chatzitza. V'gam, and furthermore, genaya davar be'enei kol ra'eim. Someone who sees you with long, dirty fingernails, it's disgusting, says the Pele Yoetz. Clean yourself. Va'oichlim imayim, someone who eats together with them, imroim shenoistim yad b'ka'ara. If a person sees, let's say there's a tray of fries in front of the two of them, and the guy with the long, dirty fingernails reaches his talons into the fries and he takes them out. So says the Pele Yoetz, nafsham katsa b'meichel. He is repulsed now to go and touch that food that the hawk put his long dirty fingernails into. V'nimas b'einim, it's disgusting in his eyes. He doesn't want to eat anymore. Therefore, every person should do their best to be clean in the eyes of Hashem and clean in the eyes of Klal Yisrael as well. It's cut your nails and clean your nails and make yourself look nice in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in the eyes of people around you. If your nails are too long, it could be a chatzitza, and certainly if there's dirt underneath, it's going to be a chatzitza, says the Pele Yoetz, even if there's what to be makel on in halacha. But that's what the Pele Yoetz is saying. And he says that furthermore, you could actually disgust a person with the way that your nails look and how long they are and how dirty they are underneath, and it's going to repulse a person, especially if they're eating together in the same place. Cut your nails, clean your nails, be clean in the eyes of Hashem and clean in the eyes of Klal Yisrael. All the best.